Good morning, stamping friends. How's everybody doing? I'm doing great, and I'm super excited to be here today. I'm actually getting ready to go on vacation. I'm headed to Miami to get on a cruise, and my friend and I are headed to the Dominican Republic, so I cannot wait. This is going to be so much fun. And then not even, gosh, maybe 3 weeks later, I'm headed to London for a cruise on Royal Caribbean for the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. So it's kind of crazy that I'm going on 2 cruises in like 1 month, but I love to travel, so that's not too much for me. So in the meantime, I have been busy in my craft room kind of preparing for the new catalog coming out. And one thing I want to share with you is my In Color Club that is starting up. And the deadline is coming up pretty fast. You have to let me know by May 1st. So let's see, today is the 25th. So not too much time before the deadline. And that way I can get my order all ready to go when I can order on May 2nd. So I'll share a little bit more in detail with you on that. So in the meantime, we are going to get started with my final project for the catalog that we are in now, because these products are going to be retiring. And so some of them are on sale too. So if you like these, you may want to grab them before, the new catalog starts. All right, let me turn my camera around and we will get started today. I want to start off by explaining how my 2023 In Color Club works. You guys, this is the best way to get a lot of product spread out over 5 months time, so you don't have to buy it all at one time. And it's just kind of fun to get this package in the mail because you're going to have all kinds of the new In Color products in your hands ready to go, and that'll be good for the next 2 years. So how it works is each month starting in May, you're going to receive all these products in color, and I choose 1 color per month, and then I fulfill all the colors in 5 months. So in this packet, you will get 1 full pack of cardstock, an ink pad, the refill that goes with it, a Stampin' Right marker. You'll get the 2 blends, which are dark and light, and then the In Color dots that coordinate with these colors, the designer series paper, a bolt of the 3/8 inch textured ribbon, a spool of the jute trim, and then I also make a hand stamp card featuring the color you received that month. And then you can have your choice of how you want to pay for this. We can either do a recurring PayPal, or you can even Zelle or Venmo me the money each month. So please sign up on the link that I've posted, because I am going to be ordering these on May 2nd. And you know how it works. We don't do back orders anymore. So if it runs out, it goes unorderable until they're back in stock. So I want to be sure and order on May 2nd. So the deadline for signing up for this is Monday, May 1st. All right, now let's get started with today's project. This is the last project I will make using a stamp set from our catalog that will be retiring. The catalog that we have is going to be gone, and our new catalog comes out, as I said, May 2nd. So we are going to use the stamp set called Full of Love, and this is retiring. And so if you like this stamp set, you're going to want to grab it right away before it's sold out. And also, many of the products that go along with this that I'm using today will be selling out and gone. And some of the items are on sale, so I'll mention that when we are going through the project. If you find anything you like, please order from my Stampin' Up! Website, and I'll put that link plus the host code. And if you use the host code and your order is over $50, I will send you free product as my way of saying thank you, along with a thank you card. And I'm so appreciative of your business. All right, today we are going to use basic white thick paper. This is 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it in half on the long side at 5 1/2 inches. And we'll just fold this in half. I always like to crease it with my bone folder. And then for the next layer, we are going to take basic black. So let me set that aside. And this piece is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then we're also going to take a piece of basic white cardstock. I already die cut this, and I used, let me find the name of it, Stitched Greenery die. This one is regularly $32, and it's on sale for only $19.20. It's got a really nice background of leaves that are stitched, so it kind of has a quilted look, so it's really nice. And again, that dimension is 3 3/4 by 5 inch. And so we're just going to adhere this on the back side and put this on the black paper. Whoops. Oh, you guys, I'm at the end of my my tape. So of course that happens when I'm on camera, but have no fear, I can easily switch that out, or I'll just switch to my multi-purpose liquid glue is probably what I'll do. All right, so we are going to add dimensionals on the back of here. So I put one in each corner. You don't have to fill the back of your card solid with dimensionals. And then I like to put one in the middle here just so it doesn't sag. And this is going to be the basics of our card front. Are you guys excited about the new catalog? Oh, I can hardly stand it. My list is so long. I love this catalog. All right, we are going to center that on the card front. All right, now for the next part, we are going to take, well, actually, let's set this aside. We're going to build or start stamping and coloring the focal point of this card. So I'm just taking the die or the stamp that has the flowers with the envelope, and I'm going to grab my Memento ink. And when it's a little bit larger stamp, I like to flip it over so I can make sure I got all the edges, because sometimes you can see if it misses an edge. That looks pretty good. And then just stamp this. This is just a scrap piece of paper, so it doesn't matter how large it is. All right, now we are going to color this in using blends. Let me grab all the blend colors I'm using. We have Balmy Blue, light and dark. We have soft Seafoam Green, light and dark, the Fresh Freesia, and the Petal Pink. So when I use light and dark, I like to start with the lighter color. So we're going to make the biggest flower Petal Pink. You can see that this one is kind of dying on the brush end. So I'm going to use the more solid, smaller end. Now, just because one end dries up faster than the other doesn't mean you throw your pen away. I just put packing tape on the side that is dry so that I don't keep reaching for the same side, and you can use it until, you know, until it's dead on both sides. And then I take the darker one and I just kind of go follow the lines. This one isn't that much darker than the light, so I'm gonna make it a little bit darker all over like that. You may even want to, you know, do the, actually, let me show you this little trick. Because it's not a huge difference, I'm just going to color the whole thing. I like the darker color because it's going to match the ribbon we use later. And then if you want, you can go back with a shade darker than Petal Pink to make a little bit more of a contrast. So I think I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go in with, let's see, either Calypso Coral or Flirty Flamingo. Let's do Flirty Flamingo. And I'm just going to use the lighter color for this. And see, there's a little bit more of a contrast with this. And then I'm going to go back in with a Petal Pink again, just to blend it a little bit better, like that. And just kind of go over the whole thing. There, now we have more of a contrast. Seriously, I couldn't even really tell the difference, but all right. Eventually I'm going to put something in the center too. All right, so now let's grab Balmy Blue, and we're going to do our smallest flowers in this. So I'm just first going to color the whole thing in light. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to come back with the darker one. And you can see it's kind of split in two the way that the stamp goes. I'm just going to color the smaller end darker. That'll be a nice contrast there. Just barely anything here, but you can definitely see the contrast. And this one we don't have to blend because they're kind of divided by that line, and I just don't think it needs to be blended. But if you wanted, you could come in and go on that line there. All right, the next one, Fresh Freesia. I'm so happy that this made the list for coming back as a core color. So I use this all the time. I love it, especially with winter cards. This is the lighter blend, and this brush works really well because these spaces are a little bit larger and it goes faster. Okay, now I'm going to come in and use the darker. And what I'm going to do here is just kind of randomly go. Sometimes I do the lines. Sometimes I'll do like one petal part, you know, just randomness. Go to the lines. You just want to get some different colors in there. That's pretty good. Let's do the bottom stem dark as well. All right, and then if you want, you can come back in with your lighter and just kind of blend where you went. This one doesn't need it too bad. It's hard to see on the camera, but I can see, you know, there's kind of two tones going here. Then the last one is the leaves, and we're going to use Soft Seafoam. This one, again, might be too light. I might have to pull, no, that's all right. I probably have new markers. This is the lighter color. And I also like to go down all of the stems just to bring more color into this. I'll show you what I mean. First, let me get these larger ones colored in. And I am going to go back with a darker marker on these just to give some more shading and to make it a little bit darker. So when I say go down the stems, just trace the lines that are already there like that. All right, now let's go in with the darker. And I'm just gonna kind of make it darker on the bottom here. And I'll show you how we're gonna blend it. If that's too light of a color, although this is kind of a pastelish color, that's why I don't want them too dark, but you could, you know, color the whole thing with the dark marker and then go in with maybe Old Olive Light or something. Just kind of gotta play around. And then we're gonna fix that little seam there and color the whole thing, or color where the line is, you know, like where the split is, that harsh line, and it'll just kind of make it look not quite as harsh. And I see I missed some lines here, so we'll just add those. It's kind of like Where's Waldo? You try to color in everything and usually I miss something somewhere along the way. There's one more. Okay, now we're ready to trim this, and I'm gonna speed it up a little bit when I'm doing this video, but I wanna show you the special way we're gonna cut it. So hang with me while I quick cut this out. All right, can you see how I cut this just at a little V at the bottom? There's a reason I did that. I know that envelope is so cute around it, but we just want the floral part, and because I don't want to niche into that part, that's why I did that. Now the next thing I did was I took some vellum cardstock and I cut this out using actually the die from the Milkshake. It's called Share Milkshake Dies, and this is normally the waffle cone. You can see the little bit of you know, crosses in here. They're like little squares, kind of like a milkshake would have. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this, let's see if I use the front side or the back side. Actually, it doesn't matter. It's going to be covered up. So we just want to fold on these score lines that were made with the die. They kind of go at an angle here. And again, this is just our vellum cardstock, and we are going to make a little floral wrap, and our flowers are going to go in this. However, I think I didn't fold on the score line here. It needs to go down to a point, so I'll go like that. All right, that's all right. Now we are going to adhere this with a glue dot, because this needs to stay shut, and I think it's not going to really show too much on here because we are going to put a little bow on the front where that dot shows through. Now we are just going to tuck that in like that, and again, don't worry about you know, seeing this here because we are going to cover that up. All right, and so what I'm going to do is put a dimensional on the back side, and we'll just pop it up a little bit away from the back of this and just tuck that in there again. All right, and now you can set this part aside because we are going to build a little bit more on our card front here. So the paper we're going to use is a retiring paper, and it is called Perfectly Pen. This is all black and white paper, really a nice set of colored, because, well, not color, black and white, because you can add color and make it really any color you want. You can use sponges or blending brushes on here, but for this project, we're just going to leave it black and white. All right, now we're just going to adhere this to the card front. I saw this sketch on Pinterest, but, oh, by the way, this is 3" by 2". I saw this sketch on Pinterest, but I totally changed up the flowers and the, you know, like the little paper wrap that was added. And we'll go maybe like, maybe between 3/4 and 1 inch up off the bottom line. And then just gotta make sure this is straight. I think it's going a little bit uphill. That's the nice thing about the multi-purpose liquid glue. Well, you can still move it a little bit before it dries. All right, now we're gonna add some ribbon, and the ribbon I'm gonna use is called Petal Pink 3/8 inch soft polyester. And it almost feels like leather, but this is almost half price. It's normally $8 for a spool, and it's on sale for $4.80. Normally I would use this, but you can see I'm at the end of my roll. So I am going to use liquid glue, and I think this will adhere because this is a very thick ribbon. It's not like the organdy where it would come through onto my fingers, but it's almost like a leather piece. So let's add this about right here. And I just angled the one side of it down there, over here. And so that's gonna work. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is place our flowers on here. And again, I'm gonna grab my dimensionals and put a couple more on here so this doesn't go anywhere. Whoopsie, you know what? We're going to see through that one. Yikes, you cannot put it down that far. You have to put it where it's being covered up. I forgot about that. When you work with vellum, that's something you have to keep in mind, where your glue dots and where your dimensionals go. All right, so let's go right about here. And again, don't worry about that because I know that's bugging everybody like it's bugging me. Now we're going to put the sentiment on. Why is this sticking up a little bit? Oh, because I did not glue this down up here. There. Okay. Now we're going to add the sentiment, which we are going to use the stamps from, actually I'm using a couple things from Share a Milkshake. I chose the Celebrate here. That way you could really make it for an anniversary, a wedding, a birthday, whatever the celebration is. And what I did to save a little bit of time was I just took some scrap basic black and I used my Versamark ink and sprinkled white embossing powder on and then used my heat tool and heat it up so it got embossed. And we are going to add this to our card front. And again, we are going to use dimensionals. This time I'm going to choose my mini dimensionals because the strip is not very long, and I think that's about a ½ inch. I didn't even really measure. I just cut close to the edge, and I even used my Stampin' Trimmer for that because I don't always trust myself to make straight lines, but if it's not straight, it's okay. It's a homemade card, so you don't want people to think that you bought it. So now, here's one of the little tricks. We're going to cover that up with the Celebrate, and you see how that worked itself out there? And then the last thing we're going to do, whoops, and make sure it's straight again. That's pretty good. All right, now we're going to just take either linen thread or our Basics twine. I think I used our Basics twine on this one. And we'll add one more glue dot and stick this on the front. Every bouquet of flowers has to have ribbon on it. And we'll just put it right at the bottom here. It's okay if it goes into the words a little bit too, that's all right. One more thing I wanted to add, just to kind of bling that center flower up a little bit. I have just these little, they're kind of like clear embellishments. I'm not even sure what pack they're from. I have Petal Pink and Clear here. I'm just going to grab the Petal Pink one and put it right in the center of this largest flower just to bling that up. It looks clear on here, but it really doesn't matter what you use. Just kind of add a little doodad to the center there. All right, well, there you have our card today. This corner still needs to be held down where I added glue. But isn't that cute? Just a fun, easy card to do. If you make assembly line style, it goes really fast. But thank you so much for watching the video today. And again, if you'd like to order, be sure to use that host code when you put your order in. Don't forget my online card club, which I do every month. That deadline's coming up May 10th. And if you're not familiar with that, that's a good way to get monthly projects in the mail, kind of like Paper Pumpkin. You sign up for a recurring payment and I automatically send you things. It's only $38 a month. You get $20 in Stampin' Up! Product. Shipping is included. You get 8 cards and envelopes and a PDF to go with it. It's just a really good deal. And I'm so thankful for the people that have caught on and are subscribing to that. Also, I have that In Color Club going on at the same time. This one, the deadline is May 2nd. And I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me this morning. I will see you next Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock Arizona time. And thank you. Have a great week. Bye-bye.